I kept on applying to Chevening Scholarship every year, and every year I get rejected. Honestly, I don't know why. Is this you? Today's episode is definitely for you. Welcome to another episode of the Speak With Her podcast. My name is Ola Miriam. You can call me Mary the Talker, and I'm excited to be the host on today's episode titled Chevening Dreams Transforming Nation. Is this your first time tuning in? This is a space where we invite women from diverse fields and profession to inspire, empower, and educate the next generation, especially young girls who aspire to make a difference in today's world. And in the studio today, we have a truly exceptional guest speaker. She's a professional in project management, and also she's a Chevening Scholarship awardee for the academic section 2025-2026. She's someone who has valuable insights on Chevening journey. She's here to take us behind the scenes of Chevening Scholarship, how to write a compelling application, how to navigate each processes of selection stages, and ultimately to transform your dreams into reality. So if you've been wondering what it takes to make your Chevening Scholarship application stand out, this conversation is for you. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming the incredible Ma'am Ooreoluwa Bamiduru. It's a pleasure to have you here with us, Ma'am.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me. And let me commend you for pronouncing my name properly, because people usually call me Ooreoluwa. So yeah, you got it right. Thank you for that.
Thank you. So thanks for joining and welcome to the podcast. So before we dive into the conversation, I would love you to briefly introduce yourself.
All right. So my name is Ooreoluwa Bamiduru. I'm Nigerian. I was born in Oyo State, Nigeria. And I attended University of Ibadan for a bachelor's degree in geography and a master's degree in geography as well. Before leaving Nigeria, I still work as a specialized project officer in a Nigerian bank where I help to drive financial inclusion and just help people make better decisions financially, basically. And then I also own a non-profit organization called Hope Heaven for Indigence Initiative, where we help indigent patients get access to quality healthcare. And majorly what we do is we finance procedures and also just help them get access to quality healthcare, especially indigent patients in Nigeria. And I'm also someone who loves volunteering and helping out however way I can. Currently, I'm studying global development, Master's of Arts in Global Development in University of East Anglia, United Kingdom, sponsored by Chevening Scholarship. And yeah, I'm just someone who loves to solve problems, loves to meet new people, and just spread love, basically. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ooreoluwa, for that introduction. And I can't wait to learn from you. So we know
I can't wait to learn from you too. We are going to be learning from each other. So I'm excited about that.
Definitely. We know that nowadays it's usually education can transform a nation. So I don't know. I was checking your profile some time ago and I saw that it seems you started a degree as well, maybe a master's or so in UI. So now I want to ask.
Okay. Let me let you finish.
Okay. So I was actually thinking that, wow, so that truly means you have a great deal. You have this strong deal for education. Take us back to that moment where you first believe education could actually change your nation, not your own life. But was there a specific person or a place or moment that planted that belief in you?
So, like I said before, I have a bachelor's degree from University of Ibadan. I studied geography. And then I also have a master's degree from University of Ibadan, where I studied geography as well. So, yeah. So was there a moment I won't say there was necessarily a moment, but I know that as far back as I was little, my mom used to tell me that I started school earlier than everybody else, like before my other siblings. Like, it was just one day where like she took my siblings to school and I was just like, I'm going to start today. And then the next day she had to like buy me a school bag. So I remember that my grandmother used to tell me that story. So I've always loved education right from childhood. But was there a moment? I wouldn't say there was a particular moment, but I had like seen patterns of my family, of people who are ahead of me. I've seen how like education made them have like exposure. And I just really loved how intelligent they were and how they would like talk about issues and things that are happening. So I think maybe that was like the first point where like I really sat down and I'm like, oh, education, this is it. And then I would also say that because I'm someone who loves to solve problems, I would say that that's why I continued, because people say, ah, why did you do a BSc and then you did the MS and then it's just, I just think education has the power to like expand your mind and to make you see, instead of always complaining about problems, education makes you also sit down and say, how can I solve this? How can I make change? How can I be a better version of myself? How can I contribute to these courses and things like that? So I think there was not a specific moment. It was just like different moments together are the things that like inspired me to okay pursue education, because I believe education is beyond like degrees. You're able to like help systems, you're able to help policies, you're able to contribute to discussions. Your mind is just generally transformed. So yeah, that's what I would say.
And do you think that's able to like because you were talking about education and everything, you're able to transform policy and all of that. Are we really making that realization happening in today's world?
Yeah, to be honest, I feel like a lot of people that I've come in contact with are like using their education and knowledge to like change things, at least youths. I would say that a lot of youths are more aware now about how much like gaining knowledge, um how much reading, how much going to school, how much taking courses or improving their skills can help like better themselves and then in turn better like the nation. So yeah, even coming to the UK, I've seen so many young people doing amazing things from the knowledge that they got from school. One of the reasons why I also came to study another degree was because I wanted to learn how to improve some of the things I already work on. And I can say to a large extent, my course is almost over. I've been able to like gain knowledge and I'm very excited about bringing those skills back to Nigeria. So I believe there are several other people like me who, through education, they've gained new skills that they don't have before, and now they want to use it to better systems. No matter how little it is, even if it's in your workplace, you see something not working, I can tell you, education makes you look at it and you're like, oh, I need to suggest that in a meeting so that like we can look into that system. So I believe yes. Maybe there are ways we can be better at it. But currently, I think young people like me and you, like you and I, like who are trying to be change makers. This podcast you're doing is basically you seeing a problem and then you also like you started a podcast to educate people that oh you can do this better. So I believe we're not sitting down and folding our hands and just complaining all the time, because I think it's easy for us to get locked up in that trap of always only complaining. One thing I told myself when I finished my bachelor's was no matter how little, I want to make change. And I think, yeah, that was a big moment for me. I started seeking out opportunities to make change, to better processes, to start something, you know. And sometimes it's not even about starting something, like I said, it's about maybe you work somewhere and no matter how small it is, you're able to contribute to making the systems there work better. So yeah.
Okay. So for the girl
Absolutely.
watching this, watching this podcast, I feel this is for you. If you think that you have a strong deal for education, you really want to pursue your education, do not let nothing to stop you from doing that. So moving on to our actual deal right now.
Yeah.
For the gap within this, now to the eligibility process and Chevening Scholarship application, we know that it is out. So now, and the girl felt terrified that, oh, what if I'm not even qualified? So can you just walk us through that moment that actually made your application stand out? What did you write about? Because we've been hearing essays, oh, these are the things, you must have something going on with you before you start writing essay. Because they will check your social media handles, they will check what you are doing, maybe leadership also. I think I attended one webinar also recently, and they were talking about, okay, these are the things, there are some key points you should write about, and you shouldn't use AI because they are very expert at that, and they are like, okay, many things. Let's just take it slowly. So let
Yeah.
me just start what I just asked earlier, which is what made your application stood out.
Hmm. As much as I get asked that question like regularly, sometimes it's just like, was there really something that made it stand out? Hmm. So to be honest, I would say that I graduated from UI
Yeah.
after like my bachelor's, and then I was trying to get scholarships, right? And at that time, I used to like apply to US schools, and either I don't get any funding or I get 50%. I think the highest I ever got from the US was 70%. And after that 70%, it was still a lot to pay. So I didn't take that scholarship. So one thing I want to like set straight is it might look like that's been like a very easy path for me, but I would say that it was not exactly easy as well. It's just really like a journey of like persistence and like believing in my own source, right? Believing in what I know, believing that I can do it basically. So imagine applying for scholarships since 2019. I didn't get full funding. After my master's in 2023 in UI, I continued. See that gap, 2019 to 2023. I continued, and I would say that the year I eventually applied to Chevening because I had been seeing Chevening, and I'm just like, when I click on the link, it's always like, oh my God, the requirements are just too much, or can I get this? So if you feel that way, I felt like that before as well. So don't be scared, don't panic. So at that point, I felt, oh, can I do this? Can I do this? And every year when I see Chevening, I just scroll. I'm just like, you know what? Just go and stay somewhere. I don't have the energy to do this. And then in 2024, I saw the link and I was just like, you know what? Can I just sit with this thing and like just go through it? And then I sat with it. I checked the requirement. I'm like, there's no big deal. Some of the US schools I've even applied to asked for more things than this, and I was able to submit them. So I think I just need to sit with it. And then I sat with it, wrote out the requirements. I would say one thing that helped me was I tried not to overwhelm myself with information because trust me, the information is a lot. So one thing I would do every day was there are four parts of the essay, right? Leadership, networking, studying the UK, and then what's the fourth one? Career plan. So what I would do was after listing out all the essays and then finding out what they really wanted under each essay. Today, I just wake up, write 2 lines in my leadership essay. If that's all I can write, I'll write it and then I'll go back to sleep or do whatever I want to do. And then next tomorrow, if I have the energy, I'll write another 2 lines. Till you will be surprised till I was done. That's exactly how I did it. I was not trying to write the essay in one day because it requires you to think. Because there are several people doing amazing work like you who are also fighting for that spot. So one thing I did was I didn't overwhelm myself with information. I didn't try to do everything in one day because I think that's one thing that we youths usually do. We try to rush. Once you see an application, you rush and you apply, and then you find out that you didn't put in your best. So I did it daily, on some days I don't even feel like doing it, and I don't force myself. But one thing I did was I was able to finish after taking time. I read through, reached out to my friends to read through. Like I asked them, do you feel, if you are the one giving me this scholarship, do you feel convinced? And then when they tell me, Maria, I think this can be better, I took those criticisms, right? And then I sat with it. And then it's not like you take everything. There are some that you know that obviously, like, this is true. And then those feedbacks helped me, like, keep rewriting till I was done. And then one thing I would say about the Chevening Scholarship is that a lot of people have the notion that you have to be a founder or you have to be a business owner or something before you can apply. That's not true. I have friends that have never owned a business. I have people that have never started an NGO that are Chevening scholars. Chevening basically just wants to know if you have leadership qualities. Like if you're someone who solves problems, if you're someone who takes initiative, if you're someone who has influence. And by influence, it could be that you've impacted 10 people before. Maybe through your podcast, maybe 10 people have heard it and it has inspired them. That's what Chevening is looking out for. Or even in your workplace, you've seen a problem and you've solved it. That's what Chevening is looking out for. So basically, Chevening wants to see that you're someone who can see a problem and you can solve it, right? And then you can demonstrate it. So I would say that those are the kind of things that made my application stand out, really. I was able to like write out what I've done in the past. I was able to use numbers, right? You know, a lot of us don't keep, young people, we don't keep record. And that's why I like older people, right? Because if they do two things, you see, let's say my dad, for example, if he pays it for something, he has the receipt stacked somewhere. So those numbers are very important because they are the things you use in your essay. So I was able to like tie everything, every impact I did with numbers. I was able to say 10% of these 200 people were able to go ahead to succeed at whatever. Do you understand what I'm saying? So basically, I was able to use number to quantify my impact. I was able to say, oh, was it 5 people? Because trust me, Chevening is not expecting you to come and say you've impacted 20,000 people when you have not. So if it's 2 people you've impacted, tell them how you did it. What was the problem? That's where STAR approach comes in. What was the situation? What was the task? What was your action? What was the result of what you did? And then I used to add like an extra thing to it, which is learning. What did I learn from that? So basically, just tell your story. So literally, I didn't overwhelm myself. I used figures to quantify my impact, right? And then another thing is AI can never write your story like you. Also, giving out your essay to someone to write for you, they will never tell your story like you. So always tell your story yourself. Your story is peculiar to only you. You are the only one who really knows, like. And then even the things you think are little are not little to Chevening. The things you think, those are the things that they are even happy about. That, oh, you saw this and you were able to do this, and then this was the result. So those are the things I would say like made my essay my application stand out. Another thing I would say is maybe reference, but I don't know if that really helped. But I know that I reached out to people that could vouch for me. And I also sort of like, because it's important for what the referees say about you to match what you said you did. So I was able to like, some of them that maybe did not really know the numbers, I was able to give them the numbers that, oh, it was 10 people I impacted here. So when you're putting it in your reference letter, like, you have to put it this way. So I would say, tell your story yourself, right? Do not overwhelm yourself. Do it day by day. Take one day at a time. Use the STAR approach, right? Give examples. Tell them what you learned from it. And then just make sure that your application tells a coherent story, not like everything is all over the place. Everything has to connect, right? So yeah, that's what I would say.
Okay, thank you so much, Ma'am Ooreoluwa. I really love your explanation. It's well detailed and it is more explanatory. So for me not to waste our time, I'll be giving
Yeah.
another course to continue from here.
Oh, that's fine.
Thank you so
Okay.
much, Mr. Olua, for that. All that you have said. I mean, that's such an inspiring story. I, for one, were looking forward to hearing about this application because, trust me, just like you said, it can be a lot going through the
Yeah.
application process, and you're like, I know there'll be thousands of people. What do I even want to say that will stand out? What is
Mm,
so special in my story that I have to tell here that will make mine, stand out? Because you hear people say amazing things. You hear people even having nice stories, and you're like, if all of us have these nice stories, what would make that one thing? And one major thing that I picked out, which I also reiterate for people listening, for any girl child listening, is that please, let's not depend on AI, let's not depend on this. Tell your story. No one can tell your story like you. No
yeah.
one can put together things that you have done like you would. She said something that's very profound, writing out, even if it's 2 lines I remember today, the inspiration will come. I remember, okay, I did this, 20% of this person, I spoke with this person, this is what I was able to achieve. Write it out. By the time she said, by the time you put it all together, it makes a whole lot of sense. Yeah, you can use some tools to tidy up the grammars and all of those things, but it is your story. It can only be expressed that way by you. And that, for one, is one edge that you have in making your story stand out. So thank you so much again for
Absolutely.
that. So I'm just going to be running through 2 questions, other set of questions that we have. But one of it is that after you got that admission offer, what came next that nobody warned you about? um like visa, funding, logistics, the emotional weight of leaving home with family, friends, loved ones, or even things, projects that you were currently working on. How did you handle that situation? And yeah, just put us through how that phase went.
So a couple of things. There will
Yes,
be a lot
please.
of like, yeah, there will be a lot of like registrations. You have to register in your school, have to put in some information about yourself on the portal. You would also have to do the visa process, although it was slightly easier for us because of Chevening, we didn't have to do some things, right? They had done some things for us. So I would say those were the things that came immediately after getting the offer. I think one thing people don't warn you about is leaving leaving home, literally. Like you're leaving what you're used to, you're leaving the friends that you're used to, you're leaving family, you're leaving some people even left their jobs and things like that. So that's a very tough phase, I would say. For me, like I was missing my friends already. I had to look for a way to bring everybody together just so that I can see them for the last time before traveling and all that. So I think that's a very difficult like phase, right? And then also moving to a new country, starting all over again, trying to make friends, and then when we come is usually when it's cold. So you're trying to adapt to the cold, you're trying to register in school, start class, also make friends along the journey and things like that. So I would say those were the things that no one really wants me about specifically, but I'm grateful I was able to adapt. I'm grateful for good people that like helped make the process easier, right? And yeah, to be honest, there wasn't anything too much that I couldn't handle, but those were the ones that were a bit difficult for me to like handle. Yeah,
I see. I can totally relate with the whole leaving your friend behind thing and having to start again, creating new
yeah,
social connections and network. Like, how do I go about this? To me, the weather, I
yeah,
know it could be a lot, and that's something that I feel that we should all put into consideration so we will not be caught unaware.
yeah.
Okay, thank you for that. The next question is, what is that one thing that you would tell a girl who has just been shortlisted about this scholarship, or yeah, that, like, what will you tell her um about what happens after that? Yes, you have been given what to do, how to feel, what was the next important step to take. Yeah, one thing that you tell a girl who has just been shortlisted about what happens after.
So I would say that don't fall into doubting yourself. That's what I would say. Because sometimes after we get these opportunities, we start to think, oh, did I even deserve it? Or like you start to think, oh, this is so hard. There are going to be, for example, like in my set, where over 1,000 people coming from different parts of the world. And then you can slide into like falling into the trap of, oh, am I good enough? Like imposter syndrome, basically. So I would say that don't doubt yourself. Whatever you've done that has gotten you to this stage, it means that you know your onions. It means they saw something. It means that they know that you're capable. That's why they gave you. So don't slip into feeling like, oh, I'm not good enough, or other people are better than me, or can I really do this, or being scared of the journey. I would say that believe in yourself. It has gotten you, that belief in yourself got you that far. So even after being shortlisted, don't start to doubt yourself. So basically, that's what I would say. There are days that you feel anxious. You almost say, oh my God, did I really deserve this? What is it about me that they even picked? You know how like these things creep in, you just start to doubt yourself. But I would say that surround yourself with good people. Trust yourself and trust the process. I'm sure you'll be very, very fine. And you thank yourself that you took the offer and didn't give up on yourself. So yeah, that's what I would say. Don't start doubting yourself because you've gotten the opportunity. It shows that you're very, very deserving. So just take it, and from there it gets easier. So yeah, that's what I would say.
All right. All right. Do not give us that syndrome. We can all hear that because, I mean, we all tend to say, could that be me? Did I really deserve this? And it's one way or the other creeps in to affect other things, other steps that you'll be taking after
Yeah.
then. Okay, so another question I'd like to ask is that from your experience, now that you have stood in rooms in the UK, in leadership spaces, that's that girls in your community may have never imagined belonging to. What do you learn? What did you learn in these rooms? What did you learn about that really means to um, about knowing what it means to transform a nation through education versus what people assume it to mean? What you have from your experiential knowledge, what it means to transform a nation through education, and what the world's like, probably what people will feel about it from your own experience.
Hmm. So I would say that a lot of us think that you have to do something grand, right, to transform the world. But I would say that studying here, meeting people, has made me realize that no matter how little you do, you're also contributing. And like it produces a ripple effect that reaches out to like people that you are not even, people that you can't even see. Do you understand? So it's basically like what you do affects the lives of others. So this has made me realize that when you have education or when you have knowledge or capacity, no matter how little what you think you did is, it is making an effect. And it is all these little things that adds up to make the grand solutions that we see. So just keep doing what you're doing, right? To be honest, that's like one of my greatest lessons here because staying in these rooms has made me feel like my voice counts, right? I can be the change, I can lead the change that I want to see. I don't always have to wait for somebody else, somebody big or someone with a positional leadership to come and solve the problems. I can also do my little. And also, I think one thing it has also taught me is the power of collaboration. I think that's one thing this Chevening journey has also taught me, right? Collaboration is amazing. And I think a lot of us, after getting education, after getting knowledge, we think that, oh, only me, I would try to do everything by myself. But you can reach so like a better distance or a better place when you like collaborate with other people to drive that change, right? So it's not always about myself, myself, myself. Transforming things and making change is about coming together with like-minded people and building something solid. So don't always like depend on, oh, I want to do this. I want to do this alone. I want to do this alone. Meanwhile, there's somebody you can borrow ideas from or use their networks to like make that change even bigger. So I think education as a transforming tool should also be about like collaborating. You've seen someone in your field that is doing something amazing. You can learn from them. You can hit them up and say, oh, can you teach me how to go about this? You can message them and say, can we do this together? I've seen that you've done something like this before. Can we do it together? Maybe on a bigger scale in Oyo State, Nigeria, or maybe on a bigger scale in another state. Do you understand? So it has taught me that you don't have to always do everything on your own. You can like leverage relationships, leverage connections, and just make that change even bigger. So we can do so much when we do it together. I'll just say that. So collaboration is a very, very important tool. And also never ever believe that the change you're creating is small. Never ever believe that. No matter how little what you're doing is, it adds up in the grand scheme of things. Yeah. So those are the things I would say.
Beautiful, beautiful. That's my personal take on that. We should never have to believe that the things that we do are small, or that the change that we so want to see has to be grand. Because from the start, when you start thinking like that, it limits even your ability to be able to make a step to do anything, because you start thinking, I have just little and I want to achieve this thing greater. But like you said, it all starts small. Nothing is useless or less impactful. Every effort, every idea, every impact counts in the grand scheme of things. I would personally take that home, and I believe that every girl child listening to this should know that you have a voice. Use it when you have the ability, when you have the privilege to stand in rooms that matters. Speak, let your ideas be known, and collaborate. Collaborate. We cannot do this on our own. No man is an island. Share your ideas with people that you feel that are like mind. Rub minds together, put ideas together, brainstorm, and you will be surprised at how the little ideas and things that you feel that are just something that you talked about casually will make a global impact. Thank you so much. I think the last question we have here is that if the girl child you once were, like, could see you now, what would surprise her most about the achievements that you have made? Yeah.
I would say, I'm sure she'll be surprised at my level of audacity and courage now. Because growing up, I used to, when you are made for more, you just know that you're made for more. But sometimes we hold ourselves back. I can't even count how many opportunities I've gone by that I didn't apply for just because of doubts. Just because I'm sitting there and I'm like, how would they even pick me? That happened for Chevening as well. And imagine the year I eventually now applied to Chevening, I got it once. So imagine if maybe I had applied since, maybe I would have gotten it since. And maybe I would have even gotten several others after that. So I would say that my younger self will be one thing I would tell my younger self is basically to be audacious. You have to be audacious. You have to be courageous. One thing I've started telling myself is highest they will say to you is no. But at least you tried. So it's important that don't limit yourself. It's easy for us to limit ourselves. It's easy for us to say things to ourselves that will not make us go for. The people winning those things are people like you and I. Like, when I got Chevening, I was just like, wow, okay. Over 100,000 people applied for this scholarship. What are the odds, right? I would never have known if I didn't apply for it. So take the bull by the horn, right? Apply. Highest they will tell you is no. Highest they will tell you is maybe not now, maybe next. I used to liken it to how God is as well, right? Sometimes we ask God for things, and God maybe we feel like, he's silent, he's not saying anything. Maybe it's just not for you at that time. And then eventually it comes true. And then it's so easy. There are things that you ask God for that if He had given you the first time, maybe you will really sweat. And then He gives you another time. And then it's so easy. So, but you never know until you ask. Even the Bible says, ask and it shall be given unto you. So sometimes the reason why things are not given to us is, sorry, I'm in my, I feel like I've moved to my preaching element. But yeah, there are lessons for us in the Bible that applies to this, literally. So if you don't ask, there's no way you will get. You have to ask, you have to knock. So you have to just, even if it's a no, even if it's wait, not yet, because I have people that applied first time, they didn't get it. Second time, they didn't get it. Third time, it was on the fourth time. When I got the scholarship, I even saw in one of our groups that someone had applied 11 times. And it was the 11th time that the person got it. That persistence, that courage really inspires me. I really hope to be able to keep going for something I want as much as what that person did. Every time I remember it, it's a new level of dedication to apply for something 11 times. So you never know. He knocked 11 times and it was the 11th time that they got it. So I think I would just tell my younger self to be more courageous, to be more audacious, to take the bull by the horn, to kick those doors open by force. Because I feel like I might not be where I am now if I had started taking the Audacity since. I might not be, but I'm grateful for where I am now. It's everything has worked out for good in the end. So that's one thing I would tell my younger self, to just keep going, to keep applying, whether it's a no, whether it's a yes, just apply. But when you're applying, make it a meaningful application, right? Make it mean, don't just see a link and just drop your CV there or just drop without checking. So I would just say, be courageous. Be courageous. Nothing is out of reach. Nothing is impossible. Keep knocking on those doors. And yeah, that's it.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much. I mean, not just a younger self would have been glad to hear this, but I'm sure that a lot of young girls out there that will be listening to this will be encouraged by these words. Be courageous. Take the bull by the horn and ensure to do whatever it is that you have set your heart to do. Another key thing that I loved that you put at the end is that, of course, you don't throw out applications or what have you aimlessly. Have a goal. Ensure to be the best. Be strategic about whatever it is that you're doing so that you're not wasting time. Because like you also said, there's so many things that you would have been able to achieve if you are taking the step earlier. So instead of waiting and just throwing around applications without the right strategy and making sure that you're putting the right thing and wasting time, you could actually strategically, with counsels from people that you feel that have gone ahead in that field or in that career path, counsels from them, have a conversation, research, and shoot your shot. Of course, with God being your help, you will be sure to get it and you will not waste time. You will just have everything happening so fast, one good thing fast on the heel of the other. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That has been amazing. Okay, at this time, I'll just hand over to Miriam for the closing. Yeah, It's been amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Ms. Elizabeth. I really do appreciate your support here. Let me just ask this question because someone that's trying to she told me she would actually start the application so very soon about this Chevening Scholarship, and she has not been able to get in. So I asked her to send a question. So let me read out the question she just sent. She said, what are the common mistakes one should avoid? And we've already asked earlier because she's not here with us. So she asked, what makes your application stood out? And the thing is that you were mentioning 4 selection processes then, but you didn't actually go in details. So can you briefly explain to us, just summarize What are
Okay.
the neat things? What are the most important things they should just focus on whenever they are just on these processes?
So I think that your essays are the most important things. So
Okay.
why I said four things is basically there are four essay prompts. So when you register, when you say you want to like get the scholarship, there are four essay prompts. One is on leadership. So under the leadership, basically what they're asking you is what have you done in the past to influence other people, right? And what has been the outcome of it? So one thing I also should put out there is that Chevening's prompts changed this year. It's a bit different from our sets. So whoever is applying still needs to sit with the website and check the new requirements, but it's almost still the same thing. Almost the same principles still apply. Because now Chevening has explicitly stated some of the things they require in your essay. So if you sit with that, for our set, they didn't really tell us what they really like wanted. Another thing is during our set, it was 500 words per essay. Now it's 300 words. So you know that you have to really make use of that 300 words properly. You can't cite as many examples as we could. Maybe you have to just cite two good examples. So basically, the leadership essay is your opportunity to sell yourself about how you've been a leader in the past and how if Chevening invests in you, you'll be able to even do more back home, right? So is the opportunity you have to let them know, okay, yes, this is what happened. This was what I did. This was how that helped. So for example, I think one of my examples in my essay, right, was basically how sometime in 2023, I had visited my mom who was sick in University College Hospital in Ibadan. And I noticed that every time I go to the hospital, I usually end up like spending almost all the money I took with me just because I'll see one family here, they need blood, they can't afford it. Or one family here, this is happening, they can't. And it's like sometimes even as little as 1,000 naira was like a big problem. So I saw that I would always like exhaust my money. So after my mom got discharged, I just sat down and I'm like, this is a problem. Because it means that indigent patients are like unable to afford healthcare as little as 1,000 naira, as little. So I started a non-profit. For you, it might not be starting a non-profit, it might just be something else. So like that's one of the examples that I cited. I cited this situation. I put the names, like the name of the hospital. I put the task, what I did to solve that problem, or what I'm doing to solve that problem. I put because of what I've done, how many people's lives, how many people have been able to like leave the hospital, how many people have been able to like pay their bills, how many people have, and then I also put what I've learned in that process, right? So what you've learned could be like, nothing is too small. You get it, it can be anything, literally. So that's just my approach. Some people don't put what they've learned, but that's just my approach. I usually put what I've learned in every like scenario, even after the results. And then you link it, you must always link it back to Chevening that, if they invest in you or when they invest in you, you'll be able to like reach more states in Nigeria. You'll be able to reach so amount of people. And so literally that's leadership essay for you. Right now, Chevening has listed out some priority areas where they are working because Chevening is a UK government scholarship, right? It's funded by the British government. So there are some ways they are partnering in different countries. So they've listed out some of those priority areas. So whoever is applying needs to go and look for those priority. I think is like when you register, they will show you, like when you want to start the process, they will show you those priority areas. I can't see it because I'm not trying to register again. Do you get? So you need to link whatever examples you're citing back to those priority areas. So for example, it could be like what you're doing is helping economic resilience in Nigeria, and which is something that the UK government is also trying to like do, right? So that's it. I would say in your leadership essay, use numbers, just tell your story. Don't be scared. I'm sure someone would have wondered that why is this one saying story about how her mom was sick and she went to the hospital. But that's my story. That situation helped me change something. It helped me contribute to the world. And like your own story might be different from mine. Do you get? So that's my story. That's why I keep saying it's your story to tell. Several other people have opened the NGO, but maybe nobody has seen a problem the way I saw it. Do you get? So everyone's story is just different. And maybe when you started your own health non-profit, it was not in UCH. My own was in UCH. And maybe that's what intrigued them. Do you get? So just be able to tell your story, put actual names, numbers. If you're not sure of the number, put a percentage. You can say around 20 people,
Okay.
around. You can put, for me, I put the amount I've like raised through my non-profit and used to help like nursing mothers in so hospital. I actually put like the hospitals I've partnered with. I put UCH, I put Seventh-day Adventist Hospital Ileife. I put the names. I put the primary health care center I've also partnered with. So, but I know like the prompt is shorter this year, so you might not be able to write so much. So try to like hit the nail on the head as fast as possible. One thing I will also say is your first and last paragraph. Every paragraph is important. Don't quote me wrongly, but like your first and last paragraph is very, very important. You have to make sure that whoever reads it, even when they close it, they still remember. I remember that my first paragraph was very catchy. Like it had, I can't remember the exact, but it had a phrase about like what I call myself, right? And I think whoever read it is like, interesting. So you have to be able to make your viewers glued. Don't just go and copy definition of leadership and paste. They know the definition of leadership. Trust me. They know. So they are the ones that set the question. So they know what leadership means. They just want to see how you've been a leader, literally. And for me, leadership is being the change that I want to see. Leadership is solving problems. That's leadership for me. Then the next one is networking essay. So basically, they want to know because for my set now, we are over 1,000 people from different countries of the world. They want to know if you're someone who will be able to explore relationships, able to like partner with people, able to contribute in rooms when you get there, able to, you're not just someone who you're always taking from people. You also give. You get. So that's what networking essay is about. It's basically about relationships, what you've done in the past with other people, how you've used your relationship to better a system or a problem, how you intend to use the relationships you get from Chevening to better Nigeria when you come back. Do you get? So for me, I think one of my networking examples, one of my networking examples was, I remember, it was about how in my 100 level, my first semester results in school wasn't so great. It was not it was not like it was bad, but it was not what I wanted. And how like my brother had a friend who had a younger sister in my department, even though like the person was like, I think 2 years ahead of me. So, and how I basically just reached out to her to say, how did you do this? This is my result and I'm not happy about it. Can you help me? Blah, 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 blah. And then she helped me. She was like, oh, that I can relate. This was exactly how it was like for me as well. Like when I was in 100 level, my first semester result was also like this. This is what I did. And from that, I learned some things and I applied it. And in the next semester, my results went up. So, and then I just explained how that relationship helped me, right? And how the person also, one thing about me is my idea of networking is a symbiotic relationship. It's not supposed to be just me taking. How can the other person also benefit? I explained how like that same relationship, I was able to now like also do something back for her. And like we're still in contact, and then I now tied it to, okay, yes, when I travel, I'll be able to leverage relationships with people. They benefit, I benefit, we make change. You know the power of collaboration and all that. So that was one of my examples. The second example too, I can't really remember where it was, but it was another example on how, so your own could be that, oh, you, Miriam Oladayo, you've collaborated with Elizabeth Akintunde to host Speak with Her podcast. And this is how many people Speak with Her podcast has reached. They are able to tell, oh, this person is someone that can leverage their relationships. She didn't just do Speak with Her podcast alone. She reached out to Elizabeth so that Elizabeth would be the co-host and it does not look like she's just trying to do everything by herself, literally. So that's what they're looking for. They want to see what you've done, the relationships you've leveraged, how you, because they believe, Chevening believes that you need collaboration. That's one of the things they always hammer. When we have like our meetings and like conferences, they will always tell you, collaborate. I keep saying it that I feel like maybe if I have the knowledge that I have now before, maybe I wouldn't have even started the non-profit. Maybe I would have just collaborated with other people already in that field. You know, the way we are wired is to always do, try to do everything. Meanwhile, there are people already doing it. What if I'm just a funder funding a part of their program, like every year, and they give me a report that this is how many people they've reached out to? I do not regret starting a non-profit. It's still amazing, but I'm just saying that we can collaborate. If you have someone who's doing something amazing and you like them, they like you. Sometimes it's not even about them liking you. Can they get the job done? Literally, yeah. Can they get the job done? Can they create the kind of change that you want? So yeah, that's what networking essay is about. For that one also is 300 words. But I need people to cross-check, right? Then the next one is studying the UK. For studying the UK, they're basically just asking you, okay, so Chevening allows you pick 3 courses in 3 different schools. So for me, my first option was University of Bristol. I picked Masters of Science in International Development. And then for my current school, University of East Anglia, I picked Masters of Arts in Global Development. And then the third choice was University of Bradford, and I picked Masters of Science in Sustainable Development. So Chevening gives you an opportunity to pick 3 courses, right, in 3 schools. Those 3 courses cannot be different. It's not like I'll pick nursing now, and I'll now go and pick accounting. It has to be. So in different schools, sometimes the course title is different. So the way mine is Global Development now, in another school, they call it International Development. And in another school, they call it Sustainable Development or Development Management, Development Studies. So you pick those 3 courses in 3 different schools: first priority, second choice, third choice. And then you're supposed to write an essay on those schools. That's what studying the UK essay is for. They want to know why you picked those schools. So I think for our year, we have to explain why we picked all 3 schools. But this sets, like I said, they've made life easier. You state the 3 schools, but you only explain one, which is your first choice, why you picked your first choice. Or please don't quote me anywhere. Please cross-check. But I think that's what it is this year anyway. So you tell them why you picked the school. My advice to people is, which is what I used for myself, do not write the obvious things like, oh, the school is the best in the world. Anybody can know that. If they search on Google, they will see that the school is the best school in the world, right? And they want to see that you researched. Because if everybody writes the school is the best school in the world, so okay, so how will I pick the best person or who has written this essay the best? You get, those are mistakes that people do. They fall for that trap. Oh, they say I should write about the school. And then you now can write, oh, I'm not saying don't write that the school is the best in the world, but more substance, right? Can you research, can you sit with their website and look for something that you think nobody else will say? And then it aligns with you, what you're doing, and where you're headed. So for me, I remember that my first choice, one of the things I had said, I had searched their website, I had looked for a professor that does something that interests me. So I basically put the professor's name in my essay that, oh, I've looked, one of the reasons why I chose so university is because I've read the work of Dr. Muhammad, so. And I've seen what they've done in education, which is something I'm very passionate about. I see the areas that they're trying to do more research on, and it matches what I'm also interested in. And I would love to collaborate with them or even learn from them. They're like, oh, okay, nobody really writes the name of the lecturer, right? This person has done research. The fact that you've even read the research of a lecturer that you've not met sends a message that this person is not lazy as to just writing what is obvious, right? For me, one of the other things I said was basically how one of the issues I'm having with my current initiatives or like the NGO that I run is basically monitoring and evaluation, right? How to monitor the impact of our programs, how to use project management tools to like, and then this is the reason why I picked the school I picked, because they have a module on project management that teaches me so. So be able to say why you picked it and how that will help what you're doing. So with knowledge from that module, I will be able to like I will be able to make my solutions better, improve my solutions in so area, and then this, literally. So that's what studying the UK essay is about. Just be able to tell them why you picked, convince them that I did not just go and apply to all the schools in the world. I sat down, I thought about it, and I saw how studying this course in this school will help me at this particular time. Do you get? Then the last one, that one also 300 words. And the last one is career plan. For that one, I think one of the greatest mistakes that people do is I'm an ambitious person. And I say this with all humility. Or I think a lot of people try to be too, when they're writing their career plan, they try to be too unrealistic. So imagine telling Chevening that, so for you that you just finished bachelor's, imagine telling Chevening that, oh, when you return to Nigeria, you want to be the president of Nigeria. How far now? How far? That's very unrealistic. And whoever is marking that is just like, this one does not even know what he wants to do. And then I think another issue is that a lot of people do not know their why, right? They don't know why they are existing. It's even fun that a lot of people even just apply for these scholarships because some people apply because they want to japa. And then when they realize that Chevening is not a japa plan, they will not be like, oh, because Chevening, you have to go back home. So you need to know your why. Don't apply because your friends are applying, right? You need to know, okay, this is what I've done in the past. This is where I am right now. This is what I want to do. It doesn't matter. For me, my path was not straight. And that's the honest truth. I studied geography. I've said it before. Master's, bachelor's geography. I work in a bank as a specialized project officer. How does geography relate to banking? It doesn't really relate. And then I worked with non-profits. I founded a non-profit. So it's basically like development, banking, geography. Well, guess what I did? I found a way to connect all those things about myself to tell a very coherent story. Yes, I studied geography. And then I worked in a bank. And a lot of the things I did was to better processes, was to strategize on how to make the bank better, was to drive financial inclusion, for example, in northern Nigeria, right? And then my NGO work, I've helped education courses to deliver their projects. And then I founded a nonprofit that helps in health. I was able to connect it. And then the bridge was basically that I'm a problem solver. That's my why. That's why I exist. I exist to ensure that systems work well, wherever I find myself. If it's in banking, if it's in geography, if it's in non-profit, if it's in... Do you get what I'm saying? You have to be able to connect the dots. Not that all your stories will be scattered. And then another thing I think mistake that people make is you've done so much. You want to now talk about everything you've done. There's no space. There's no space. So pick the most important things that aligns with what the essay is asking you about. Then put that. So I digressed, but I think that that information was important. So for your career plan, basically, I would say that Chevening wants you to say for our set, they wanted us to talk about our short-term goals, mid-term, and then long-term. I think this year they just asked for mid-term and long-term. So basically, upon my return home, if it's short-term, you're right, upon my return home, this is what I want to do immediately I get back home. So for me, one of the things I said was my initiative is currently just in Ibadan and Ife in Osun State. I'm looking for how to expand it to other states in Nigeria. So upon my return home, I will expand it to so number of states in Nigeria. How will you expand it? You can talk about leveraging networks and connections that you've built, using the skills. You see how all the essays are connecting, using the skills that you picked up from the project management module or from whichever module, right? That's short term. There's no reason to say, oh, when I come back, I'll expand it to the whole of Nigeria. It's possible you can do it. Some people can do it, but I'm very realistic. I don't try to overwhelm myself, right? This is what I'll do. If it's 2, 3 things you want to do upon your return, make sure it's measurable. That's one of the things they say when you're setting a goal. Let it be measurable. Let it be smart. This is what I'm doing. This is how I'm going to get it. This is it, right? And then midterm, maybe the research I've done, I'll be able to push it in rooms, in like policy rooms, and make sure that, it helps Nigerians' educational system or whatever, right? Explain how that's going to work. Then for long term, you can now say, in the long term, this is what I intend to have achieved. I want to be able to have reached all the 36 states in Nigeria, right? And then I want to be able to maybe have ambassadors everywhere, even if I'm not able to like establish a branch everywhere. I want to have ambassadors everywhere who will reach out to this hospital, like be able to tell, like, and let them be able to measure it. Let it be realistic. Let it be measurable. And let every story build upon. I'm not saying use the same examples, but somehow let it connect. None of your stories should be. That's the essays, literally. And then I think another mistake people make is in terms of reference. They give their references to people that don't know them well, or maybe people that will not write well about them. For me, I was very strategic with my referees. I picked people that know me well and people that I can hint that, this is the total number of people I've impacted here. Instead of picking someone that when you tell them this is the total number of people, they'll fight you. They'll say, maybe they don't even know that you've done that before. Do you understand? So the referee should be people. For me, I used an academic referee one and then a reference from a place of work as the second one. So just ensure that people writing your reference, there are people that can vouch for you. There are people that can write. There are people that will be patient to write about. They're excited to write about you. They're excited to be part of your journey. And also, don't be a user. Don't be someone that the only time you reach out to them is for reference. Be someone that... I've also made that mistake in the past. That I think there was a particular lecturer that even told me that, it's only when you want reference, that's when... And immediately he said that, it touched me, right? And it made me... For this man to say this, it means it feels that way. I don't want to invalidate how he feels. And it made me do better. To be honest, I'm someone who reaches out to people and checks up on them. But I think in terms of him, I sort of did not. And it made me become more self-aware about that. And I started doing better. So don't be a user. Let them also be able to gain something from you. If you see opportunities that will help your referees, send it to them. If you can check up on them, check up on them. If you can send them gifts, send gifts to them. If you can visit them, visit them. That's when they'll be able to write something great about you. They'll be excited about it. They won't feel disturbed. She's always just reaching out, like, to ask me for references. Yeah. So basically, just tell your story. And use figures, right? Let everything be coherent. Give people that have gone, maybe people that have gone ahead of you, or friends that you trust, give them, let them read about it. And one thing I also always tell people is there's an interview after the essay phase. Don't focus on that one now. Focus on getting that essay first. Me, I don't like stress. I think maybe you'll be able to tell from all the things I've said today. I don't like stress. So I don't try to overwhelm myself. Everything is one step at a time. When I get to that bridge, I'll cross it. Right? That's what I do. So after I got feedback for my essay was when I now started preparing for my interview. But if you try to bombard, some people can do it, but me, I cannot do it. And it's important to be self-aware, know your limits, know what you can do. So I think after you get a positive feedback, literally, then you can start watching videos online, which is what helped me. Start watching videos of people that have done the interview before, what the setting was like, what they said, what they didn't say. And yeah, like I said, when you get to that bridge, you cross it. Take it one step at a time. And the biggest advice I would also give is the God factor. God is very important. So as you're writing your essays, put God in mind and ask Him for inspiration, ask Him for grace to be able to put what others will not put, something that will stand you out. Because at the end of the day, these strategies I gave you might not even really work for somebody else. I feel like God is the ultimate glue factor and is the ultimate person who shows us mercy and who helps us. So yeah, commit your ways to God. Another thing, last tip before I take my leave, because I think we've gone past time.
Okay, thank you so very much, Ms. Ooreoluwa. We really appreciate your presence, your knowledge, and everything you've done for us on this podcast as regards to Chevening's dreams. Because what you said about writing of essays, how your application actually stood out, those things that you needed, that you need to focus on as a learner, that you want to apply to this selection. You should have seen. That question was Rukaya's question, and it is also binding Miriam's question as well, because yeah, supporting statements is also part of the essays that you just explained, right?
So Chevening doesn't really name them like supporting statements or statements of purpose. It's just essay prompts. So you know how like maybe you're filling a Google form. It's just a prompt. So you're supposed to maybe answer it somewhere and then paste it so you can have a Word doc somewhere. The leadership essay, you've written it in a Word doc, then you copy it and paste it on the essay prompt on the link. So I won't say it's probably a statement of purpose as well, but Chevening doesn't call it that. It's just like essays. They call it essays. So yeah.
Okay, so Ms. Miriam, I think we've been able to answer your questions on this explanation. So this podcast will be recorded and it will be uploaded on our YouTube channel. So because we've wasted, I don't want to say wasted, because we actually used we used a lot of time on this podcast, and I really do appreciate your time here, Ms. Ooreoluwa. Thank you so very much for coming here, for being able to spare your time out of your busy schedule. Thank you so very much for coming here and sharing your knowledge.
You're very welcome.
Thank you
well
so
done
much.
To you and your team
Thank
for
you.
the good work you're doing. Keep it up. Rooting for you guys.
Thank you, man. And thanks to my amazing co-host as well, Miss Elizabeth Akintoday. We really appreciate your support here also on the podcast. So we've come to the end of this episode, Chevening Dreams, Transforming Nation. Remember to subscribe, like, and share, because this video will be recorded on our YouTube channel, the Speak With Our podcast channel on YouTube. Thanks for coming by for now.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.